Hi there. We're continuing our journey through the Psalms, the Tehillim, that's the praises in Hebrew. And we're in Psalm 119 in the Hebrew letter numbering system. That's Psalm Kuf, Yud, Tet, which means 100 is Kuf and Yud is 10 and Tet is 9. And we're reading from verse 129 through to verse 144. We're looking at the next two stanzas, the next two 8-line stanzas of this song. We said that the psalm has 22 stanzas. Each line of the stanza begins with the same letter of the Hebrew alphabet in succession. So this is called an acrostic psalm because it follows through the Hebrew alphabet. And today we've come in our journey through Psalm 119 to this letter, the letter Pe. And Pe, sometimes it sounds like a P, sometimes like a F, depending on whether it has a dot in it or not, a dagesh. And it actually, originally, the pictogram for this letter, in pictographic writing, was a mouth, because the word Pe in Hebrew means a mouth. And so this is the letter Pe, and this is the letter that starts each line of this stanza that we're looking at. So the singer says, Pelaot edotecha. Pele, Pelaot, Pele means wonderful. It's actually the name that the angel of the Lord describes himself as when the father of Samson asks what his name is, and he says, "What is my name? Why do you ask my name?" He says, "It is Pele. It is wonderful." So it's Pelaot edotecha. How wonderful are your stories? Al ken nisratam nafshi. So my soul, my being, my life, I'm going to stick to these words, Lord, with all of my life. Petach dvarecha ya'ir. Your word opens, a petach is a door. It opens a door of light. Ya'ir, it's an illuminated door. Your word is opening a door of light to me. And then he says, Mevin petaim, you give understanding even to the simple. The simple are given understanding when your word opens up with the door of light. And then he says, Pi fa'arti es'atha. And says, open mouthed, I was gasping for thirst. I longed for your directions. There's this picture of such longing, such yearning, that it's like a thirst. Ya'avti. I was longing, desiring your directions, your commandments. And then he says, Pene elai v'chaneni. Pene is the word panim, turn, but with the face. Turn and face me, Lord, is what he's saying. Pene elai v'chaneni, and be gracious to me and favour me. It's that word chen, that word that means, Lord, be favourable to me, be gracious to me. It's in the blessing of the Lord. The Lord be gracious. Yivarecha v'choneka, and the Lord be gracious to you, according to your custom, according to your ways that you have to those who love your name. Kamishpat ohave shmecha. And ohave, the mishpat here is often the word that means to set right, but here it means the word custom or the practice. This is your practice, Lord. This is the right way that you act. And then it says, Pa'amai hachen be'imratcha. Lord, establish my footsteps in what you say. Let what you say be the guide of my footsteps. Al tashlet be kol aven. And don't let me go near, don't let me touch any kind of sin or sinfulness. Pedeni me'oshek adam. Lord, keep me from the oppression of man. Pedeni means rescue, deliver, redeem, also means that. Padai is the word to redeem. So Lord, redeem me from the oppression of men. Ve'eshmara pekodecha, and I will keep your principles. I want to stick to your ways, O Lord. And then panecha ha'er ba'avdecha, your panecha, panim is that word again, face. Your face, ha'er, is illuminating me. It's the words from the blessing. Yorecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav, may his face illumine you. And that's what appealing perhaps to that famous blessing, this is what the singer is saying here. Panecha ha'er ba'adecha, let your face illuminate your servant. V'lamdeni et hokecha, and let your principles disciple me. Lamdeni means a talmid is a disciple. Lamdeni means teach me, apprentice me, instruct me in your ways. And then at the last last line of this stanza, in the last in verse 136, he says, Palgemayim yerdu enai. My Palgemayim is streams of water. Streams of water are flowing from my eyes. Al lo shamru toratcha, because people are not keeping your Torah formation. They're not keeping with your formation, so it's causing me sadness, Lord. So the stanza we go on to now is the stanza that begins with this letter in the Hebrew alphabet, the letter tzadeh. And tzadeh has to do with a fortress or a defense. And originally the pictograph was a picture of a path going up to a high place that was a defense. The famous Hebrew fortress of Masada has this in the middle of its name, Masada, or Masada we call it, but Masada is a fortress. And so this letter originally was depicting a strong place, a fortress. It has the sound ts, ts, on the beginning of a word, ts, and every letter of this stanza, every line of this stanza begin with this letter. So, and it's famously the first letter of the word tzaddik, that means righteous, pure, full of integrity. So it says, Tzaddik ata Adonai, you are tzaddik, you are full of integrity, you are pure. V'yashar mishpatecha, and your ways of justice are upright, are true, are honest. And then Siviti tzedek edotecha, you have directed your story with that integrity. That integrity runs through your story, Lord. Ve'emunah ma'od, and really reliable, really faithful. You're really dependable, God. Tzimtatni kanita, I've been burning with passion. I've been eaten up with passion. Kishachu devarecha sarai, because my opponents are forgetting your word, and this causes me great trouble, great pain. And then it says, Tzrufa emratcha me'od. Tzrufa is a word that means refined. It means having been in the fire, having been purged, having been burned, having been assayed like gold. Your word is like gold. What you've said is like gold, really well refined, God. It's refined greatly. V'abdecha aheva, and your servant loves it because it is so fine, it's so pure, God. Then he says, Sa'ir anochi v'nevzeh, I'm poor, Lord. I am insignificant. I am disdained, but I've not forgotten pikodecha. I've not forgotten your principles. And then it says, Tzidkatcha tzedek leolam. Your integrity, Lord, is full of integrity without limit. Leolam. There's no limit. It's forever to your integrity. V'toratcha emet, and your Torah formation, the way that you nurture us and form us, is reliable. Emet is true. So he's stating his faith in God here. Sa umatzok metzauni. I've been in distress and depression. They've got hold of me, but I'm not going to let that get the better of me, because mitzvotecha sha'ashuai, because your directions are my delight. I'm going to delight in those things. I'm not going to let this depression get hold of me. And lastly, in the last line, he's saying, Tzedek edotecha leolam. Your story is full of integrity, without limit, right to the end. Leolam again. Chavineni ve'echyeh. Let me get your understanding. Havineni. I want to be able to discern your story. I want to be able to discern what is good. Ve'echyeh, and I will live. It will cause me to live. What a passion comes through in these words from the singer, all in alphabetical order, but saying how great God is, how great is his story, how great is his word, how great is his commandments. And even though the pressures come upon us to forsake him, we can rely on his word because it is full of integrity and full of truth. Have a good day.